MyMac Podcast 862, Golden Age of Apps.
Hi everybody and welcome to this week's Mighty MyMac Podcast with the G-Men, Guy and Gaz. Yes, we're back.
Finally.
Well, why wouldn't we be? Yeah, I think recent experiments by Guy has made him start to think. A dangerous precedent that you would believe the world would want to avoid. But they did it anyway. Is the current crop of emulation of not just x86 code apps, but also iOS and iPadOS apps a look into the future? Are we getting closer to that time when what OS you're running is irrelevant? That's the subject for the next section of this week's show anyway. Guy!
Yes.
How the goddamn devil are you?
Well, up until about a half hour ago, I was fine. I thought the world was grand.
Yes.
And then I saw something in the recording that made me go, I'm losing my mind. So That's what we have spent the last 15 to 30 minutes. I didn't say you. I meant me. There was a loud hum in the recording. And I think I know why.
And it wasn't everybody until I stopped going, that he suddenly realized
that, I wonder where it comes from. Well, I've had kind of an odd week. Gaz.
Have you?
I have.
Week? I can't believe that.
Well, on the morning that we recorded the last show, I think I said this. I took my wife and my son to the airport. Mm-hmm. Because they were flying out to Idaho to visit with her mother.
Am I supposed to say it like this? Idaho.
Idaho.
Okay.
They're coming back tonight.
Cool.
Tonight. But here I am, still on a Friday, not at work. Thank you, God. And with them gone, that gave me the chance to try something. Something odd.
Ooh.
Very odd.
No.
I bought a
Dare
new
I
smartphone.
ask?
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you anyway.
Okay.
So I bought a new smartphone, Gaz.
That's a new smartphone. What? It must be is it the SE? No, you've got the SE. Is it the 12? Is it 12? You come for the 12?
No.
It's not the 12. So you bought an older one. Why have you bought it? Is it a larger one than you've got? Because you did have a small phone. So you're going to
It's not an iPhone.
But what?
It's not an I bought something that was not an iPhone.
Hello?
Is he still here? And
Hello?
And hold on to your seat. It's a Samsung. Yeah. I was actually going to wait until you stopped drinking that before I was going to say it. But you had it up to your lips before I could do anything.
Just can't believe it.
Galaxy S10 smartphone.
The world's gone mad. The world's gone mad.
There's a reason why, Gaz. There is a good reason why, and it's
Guy.
For two reasons.
Guy, I know there's always a reason why you do something. It's not always a very sensible reason, but there's always a reason.
Yes, I wanted to give Dex a try, and if you don't know what Dex is, it's a big D, little E, big X. Just look up Samsung Dex, and you'll find out about it. That'll be a future show where I talk about the reasons why and you know the various things that I attempted to do with it. And I have to say, after a short period of time, I'm both impressed and disappointed all at the same time.
Do you know, it amazes me how often that can happen with you.
Yeah. I do go into these with the best of intentions.
You do.
It just doesn't always work the way I thought it was going to. And as I said, I'll be picking up Tracy and Guy from the airport tonight. So as they return from their Idahoan adventures.
Idahoan.
The house has been very quiet since they left, and I do miss them. On the plus side, though, I can watch any damn TV show I want in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Because That's
I really don't. Right, can we move on, please? Now,
no. I was just gonna
Can we?
say, that's the TV set that Tracy normally uses, and for like the last year, she has been obsessed. And she doesn't listen to the show, so I can say these things. She's been obsessed.
You think
with
that?
YouTube videos and
Okay.
particular YouTube videos. A lot of them having to do with tarot cards and what would you even call that kind of thing? Not so much, tarot cards in themselves, but it's like part of
the occult.
Not really the of. I can't even think of the word, but we'll just use occult because that's you came up with that, so we'll use that. So so these people on YouTube will use tarot cards in relation to current events and say what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
And she's just loving that. And frankly, not only does it bore me to tears, it worries me in so many ways.
It's it's just people trying to read the future, isn't it? In a lot of cases. Yeah.
I think we need Apple tarot cards.
I think there's a lot of people that do that already. So
what are they called? They're called people that make lists out of analyzing things.
Yeah.
Careful how we say that. Yeah. So that's pretty much what's going on here. I'm still using my PR40, and that my PR40 is not the problem.
I wasn't going to even ask the question
that I was having.
I
keep trying to include you in my problems, Gaz.
You do, and I'm not having it.
Don't blame you in the slightest. What have you been up to the last week?
Well, not a great deal on MyMac, but don't do that while you're drinking.
I know.
Yes, so not a lot on MyMac this week, but we had a family barbecue last weekend. That's
nice because you got the whole clan there with you.
We had the whole clan here, yeah. So and then on this Sunday with some of the family, we went on a 30-mile ride. It was only going to be 22 with a stop at a cafe, which is what you do when you're cycling around here. You go to a point, have a nice cake and a coffee, and then cycle back. But we had that quite early in the ride, and then just carried on and did an extra 15 or 20 miles, whatever it was.
Wow.
And then
how many people?
There's only three of us.
Okay.
Not everybody brought their bikes, of course. And then on Wednesday, I did a 41-mile ride. And this morning, I went out on a quick 10-mile ride to try and beat my previous times because I've got a new bike, Guy. It's not brand new. It's a second-hand one, but I've got a road bike rather than a mountain bike. So,
okay. Now, for people who don't understand, we are recording it's roughly about 10 a.m. Friday morning Eastern Standard Time. But Gaz is 5 hours ahead of us here on the East Coast of the U.S. So it is currently 3 p.m., almost 3 p.m. where you are?
Yes.
So for him to do a 10-mile bike run before 10 o'clock in the morning my time is not a problem.
No,
but
not
I
a
look
problem
at what
at all.
time it is.
But
and he says, I went on a 7,000-mile ride. And
no,
like, what? What?
No, it's only 10 miles, which for cycling is quite short, really. I mean, you could, it's just a quick, but I wanted to do it. I did it in 42 minutes. I'm trying to get under 40 minutes for doing it. But I'm telling you that. I just want to tell you the time I actually did it. So, because let me just have a look to see if I can find it, because I'm in Strava at the moment. Look at Strava. What time did I do it? Well, it's not telling me the time. Why is it not telling me the time? Let me look in Apple, because the August challenge is being absolutely stuffed in my, this week. Today, that's not telling me. Oh, yes, 7:10 in the morning I went out and did that.
Wow.
So it was quite early. But it's been quite busy. So I'm actually glad to sit down here and do the podcast now, if I'm honest.
Oh, nice. Get away from everybody for a little bit.
Well, yeah.
You don't want to say it out loud.
Stop going out on the bike as well.
Well, see,
anyway,
they'll know when they listen to this podcast.
They don't listen.
They all listen. They do.
Sorry, my mistake. They all listen. That's right. Just I forgot.
Yeah.
They all listen.
Always.
So I'm going to go still on the creation of the Ordnance Survey. We've kind of gone beyond how it all began. No, I'm not doing that.
I know. I was just dancing to it anyway.
We've kind of gone beyond how it all began. I think you all know now why it's called Ordnance. And we're now in a bit of a, we're still in that 1934 to 1945 period. So, we got to a bit of a darker period. As it loomed, the Second World War loomed and broke out. A third of the Ordnance Survey civilian staff were called up, and its printing presses were kept busy with war production. Not only that, its Southampton HQ was bombed and badly damaged. Staff were relocated to the home counties, where they produced 1,250 scale maps, 25,000 scale maps of France, Italy, Germany, and most of the rest of Europe in preparation for an invasion that might be coming.
I wonder when that happened.
Moving
Did that
on
ever happen?
I think it did. Yes, yes.
Okay.
And then after that, until the 1960s, all director generals held an army rank of the Ordnance Survey, which kind of makes sense. In the event of a major war, Ordnance Survey would limit its civilian activities and concentrate on military work. The military appetite was insatiable. The Normandy landings alone devoured 120 million maps, and a total of 342 million were produced for the entire war effort. And
Not
I think
a surprise.
in the next few weeks, we'll probably be moving on to more modern times, guys. But now I think it's time for Gaz's snippets. Okay, so let me get into my iPad where I keep my NetNewsWire snippet history. LG's new 32-inch 4K OLED ultrafine display for Mac is now available to order. Now, the reason I brought this in was because I thought it might hint at a possible new 32-inch iMac.
Oh, it's a mystery.
No, not so much.
No, not so much.
Not so much of a mystery.
Not so much of a mystery, but 32-inch LG and 32-inch iMac could be. We'll see. Apple details the way its CSAM detection system is designed to prevent misuse. So there was quite a lot of we've said this kerfuffle at the way Apple had or hadn't told everybody about what they were doing, and they brought out one of those graphs where you've got two circles which overlap, and you've got the two areas.
A Venn diagram.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of a Venn diagram.
It's Finnish.
It's Venish. Which is sinking, by the way.
Yeah, and it's like just south of Germany, I think.
Just south of Germany. Yes. Anyway, they've been doing a little bit. They've been saying quite a lot more about the process and to try and backtrack, I think. Apple says fix planned for you. Sorry, for you do not have permission to open the application. Oh dear. Right, let me reread this. Yeah, absolutely. Apple says a fix is planned. I wish they'd write these things correctly. For the you do not have permission to open the application error when using a scanner on a Mac. Now, I haven't had this, but apparently a few people have been having a bit of an issue saying that you don't have permissions when going on scanners. Now,
what's
I
a
haven't
scanner?
used my scanner. Well, people still use scanners.
I know. I'm just thinking of that stupid iPad commercial. What's a computer?
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I was miles away. HBO. Anyway, they're planning a fix, Guy. They've not got a fix. They're planning a fix. Of course they are.
It'll come out just before the next OS.
And I kind of combine that previous story and this story together because HBO Max to completely overhaul a buggy Apple TV by the end of the year. Don't just tell us you're going to do it. Just do it and tell us you've done it. Because now there is an expectation that you will have it ready before the end of the year.
Yeah, Tim was talking about this on the last Tech Fan.
Yeah, well, or are they trying to, appease all of their customers to say, oh, we're working really hard to try and make our application much better than it currently is. So just stick with us, folks. Yeah.
Don't end your subscription.
Absolutely. Apple have been ordered to pay Optus Wireless $300 million in a second LTE patent trial.
However,
guess where the jury were for that particular trial?
East Alabama.
Well, might have been Texas.
Yeah.
Apple has won, though, a partial victory over a patent troll, Optus, but billions still at stake. So Apple has now won a partial victory over the patent troll, Optus, when a $506 million award was reduced to $300 million. So obviously I had one story and then it followed up with a bit more of the story.
Yeah,
so
that's partial.
Yeah, it is partial. Anyway, apparently Apple share investors should give back by buying the latest iPhone, says advisor. What? That just made me laugh out loud, Guy. Laugh out loud, it did.
If you're buying Apple shares, you should also buy their phones.
You know,
To which all those investors said,
well, all I can say is, you know, a lot of people have got shares in sewage farms.
Yeah.
Does that mean? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
No, let's move on from that.
Let's move on. The US Senate bill would legally require Apple to build a backdoor into phones. Please no, please no, please no, please no, please no.
They
I
don't
think
understand
the
that
person
if that
company.
passes,
I think that the person, company, governing body that is putting at risk my ability to be able to choose a secure and reliable environment that I have chosen. So, person, company, or governing body, if you want to play that silly game, along with, I'm sure, a lot of other people will continue to call you nasty, horrible people for putting my security at jeopardy. NordVPN have updated to run natively on M1 Mac. So I thought that was quite interesting. A lot of applications now, are already there. Come on, NordVPN, pull your finger out. Oh, they have done. That's right. iCloud for Windows updated with a new password manager app.
Is there a password manager app in the Mac version?
No, because it's in
the browser,
Keychain, isn't it?
I
think it's in Keychain, isn't it? Oh, I don't know. I think it's just in Keychain, whereas obviously you don't get Keychain on Windows, of course.
Because iCloud for Windows is running in a browser, isn't it?
Yes, but Yeah, but the keychain probably doesn't. It's going to be different because the keychain's going to see it on your devices for Apple devices, but for Windows it won't. Now, even if it's in iCloud, that means it's a different process that it'd have to actually store all of those passwords. Anyway, iCloud for Windows.
Go ahead.
Okay, iCloud for Windows updated with a new password manager app because they can't store it in the same way as they do the Mac OS and iOS devices. New Apple shares all-time high as it finally breaks $150, and it is, or at the high, it was 151.12. So it's back moving up again. Apple selects 15 black and brown-owned businesses for Impact Accelerator. Apple Card to lose its magnetic stripe as MasterCard opts for Apple Pay and contactless future. Apple Card will start to change by 2027. MasterCard announced it's swiping left on magnetic stripes after decades of supporting this technology. Do you know, I don't think anybody in Europe, or certainly in the UK, would believe that magnetic stripes are still being used because they've been so long gone here. It's incredible. Woman handcuffed at gunpoint, saved by her Apple Watch. A 31-year-old man is accused of holding a young woman captive. However, the victim cleverly contacted her mother using her Apple Watch. Why she went for her mother, I don't know. Perhaps she knew where she was so she could contact the police, but I didn't delve too much deeper into that. German politician asks Apple CEO Tim Cook to abandon CSAM scanning plans. Well, can I just ask, why are the Germans asking for those plans to be stopped in the US? Not going in Germany yet, are they? And I'm sure that the German government could tell them whether they want them to do it. So I think that was a bit of a preemptive strike by the German politician. Apple secretly had a double agent in the iPhone leaker community. Can you believe that, Guy?
I can believe it.
The Australian watchdog considers regulating Apple and Google to boost App Store competition. Here we go again. Now, this one I didn't get, Guy. I was just trying to work this one out, and I didn't have time to read it. So I'm just going to go through it quickly now. BMW surveys Apple fans on Apple Watch app ahead of an all-electric i4 launch. So BMW is working on launching the all-new Apple Watch app to view vehicle information, lock, unlock doors, control, climate, view camera. So they were surveying them about that. So, cool. BMW and Apple. They seem to be working hand in hand. Carpool Karaoke, the series, or karaoke. I'm not quite sure you should say that officially, but I don't care. The series renewed for season 5, moving to Apple TV Plus. Not really a big fan of that program, if I'm honest. Tim Robbins to star in the upcoming Apple TV Plus dystopian series Wool. Okay. Apple is preparing to begin construction activities at its North San Jose office with a proportion devoted to affordable housing. Is that something which happens over there a lot? Happens here. Sometimes you have to devote areas to social housing. But I didn't think that Apple built houses. I thought they built factories.
I think this is more along the lines of just trying to appease the local San Jose government. If it was that important, why didn't the San Jose government do it themselves?
I'm saying no more. Global coalition of policy groups urges Apple to abandon the plan to build surveillance capabilities into iPhones. An international coalition of more than 90 policy and rights groups published an open letter on Thursday urging Apple to abandon its plans to build surveillance capabilities in iPhones, iPads, and other products. It's talking about the child safety stuff. Now, Guy, why are they just doing it to Apple? Why are they not having this same conversation with all the other companies that have been
doing this for years? Yeah, or maybe not years, but for some time. Because you get clicks with Apple.
We know. Apple engraving service bans 1,000 plus words in China and one number. The Apple engraving service, available as a free option when ordering one of 6 product categories direct from Apple, has been accused of political censorship in China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Apple aims to ban offensive words and phrases in the US bans 170 words. So it's happening there. It's happening in the US. Move on, folks. Don't get too worried.
Fire truck.
Apple Card has ranked the Apple Card has been ranked top for customer satisfaction by JD Power because they surveyed 2 people. No. That's a joke. That's a joke. It was 4.
3 people at most.
The civil rights groups call on Apple to abandon the CSAM iPhone surveillance. Get a grip, folks. Get a grip. Don't just do it to them. I've told you.
Yeah.
The exciting thing, Guy, Apple TV. Have you seen it yet? I didn't see this.
I have not seen the trailer yet, but I do know it's there.
Yes. Well, apparently Apple TV Plus shares the trailer for the Sci-Fi Series Foundation ahead of the September 24 premiere. Yes. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, in 2010, an email from Steve Jobs confirmed that Apple had considered launching an iPhone Nano.
It's the iPhone that tells you to go and pick up your room.
Yeah.
Could you just go and get me some chewing gum?
And a tin of meat for the cat.
Yeah. Do you know, I quite like the idea of that, Guy.
Of an iPhone Nano?
I quite,
Well, it's not that far
Oh.
from what they did with the SE2.
Well, no, but I kind of think of even smaller, almost like a little bit bigger than a credit card size one.
The
Do you know
only
what-
way you could do that would be to limit the kinds of apps that you could run on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's probably why they didn't go down that route.
Yeah, probably.
JP Morgan Chase upgrades Apple and raises its target to $180 from $175. Now, guess what, Guy? Apple has delayed the return to their offices for employees until at least January 2022. That, Guy, is the end of Gaz's snippets.
Oh, you did it too soon. You did it sooner
Oh,
than I
sorry.
was ready to nod.
Gaz's snippet. Well, as I did it, you was nodding your head. So, all's good that ends well.
I've done a little bit of research during
Go on.
Gaz's
Good.
snippets,
All
and
right,
I believe, and I mean, I wasn't even aware of this myself. iCloud for Windows is an application. I think it's an exe file. So the fact that it has a built-in password manager basically means it's giving Windows the equivalent of keychain in Windows.
Yeah, because
So
they can't create keychain in Windows, of course.
No, not on the OS level like they have.
No.
For the
Cool.
Mac OS.
Excellent. Well, I've got a couple of links, guys.
Ooh, tell me. Damn it.
Apparently, cryptocurrency is no safer than any other funds, guys.
What?
Hackers have stolen nearly 100 million in Japan crypto heist. This is not the first time this has happened. Last week, apparently, digital token platform Polynet Network was at the center of a 600 million heist. Folks, it might really be difficult to actually lose it when you're transferring it from one place to another. But if you store it somewhere, it can still be stolen, right? It can still be stolen.
Yes. And here's the thing. If you have your money in federally insured banks, if someone steals it and it's not your fault, you can get it back.
Yes.
If someone steals your crypto, you're fire trucked. Okay?
Yeah, I'm saying no more. I just thought it was funny. This one did make me go, We worry about recycling our phones, don't we? Our iPhones and all the other phones. Well, this link says, just how hard is it to recycle a jumbo jet?
It's funny you bring this up.
Go on.
Because I was looking at some videos on YouTube. I know, shocker.
Shocker.
Of a company that specializes in going to these plane graveyards where they take all of these airliners and military jets and all the rest of that they've basically mothballed, and they refurbish them and get them ready to be used again.
Cool.
And there was a company that needed, I can't remember the name of the company, but they needed a couple of 747s for cargo. So they grabbed a couple of 747s in this boneyard, and they weren't cargo freighter, they weren't made as cargo freighters. They were made as passenger 747s. And if you don't know what the big difference is,
Windows
747s, well, it's much bigger than that.
Yeah, I know.
747s that are manufactured for cargo have a flip open nose so that you can kind of open the nose, load everything all the way down to the end of its bay. Whereas passenger 747s are not. So you have to side load them. But apparently it's cheaper to refurbish passenger 747s than freight 747s or to build a new one. So that's what they were doing.
Cool.
It's a fascinating process to watch.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. It just made me smile because I thought I was just comparing recycling a jumbo jet compared to doing my phone. Anyway,
I don't think Apple has a big machine to take apart a 747 like they do phones.
No. They should do. They should
They
do.
should.
Anyway, that's
I
the
would
end
be
of Gaz.
very afraid of a machine like that.
Will you let me finish?
Yes.
That's the end of Gaz's links. Guy,
Yeah.
would you like to take us out of this
I-
first section?
I
and then
will.
and then we'll be able to jump into more nonsense in the
Of
second
course.
section.
It's nonsense is what we do. Everyone stand by for more nonsense from the G-Men, and we will be right back. And welcome everyone back to the MyMac.com podcast. This week, Gaz, without a whole lot else to talk about, because
No, it's been a bit quiet, hasn't it? It's been a bit quiet.
For a while.
Yes.
While now. It's been very quiet. So I've been looking for stories and issues that we can talk about that are unrelated to the normal stuff that we go on about. Usually there's like an Apple event or we speculate on new products or something like that. But I think we're kind of speculated out at this point.
Yeah.
Until something actually happens. So instead, we look for some other things to talk about. And the idea for this came from a couple things. Number one, I do Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices live. Typically,
yep.
I do it on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. on YouTube. And if you are available at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I highly recommend that you go and you watch this live cast. It is a lot of fun. He has anywhere from 5 to 10 people on at the same time.
Cool.
And we're all basically Mac nerds. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it, and it's a good listen. Anyway, so that's kind of where it started. And then as I was kind of perusing the Mac news sites to look for something, there was a story perusing from Cult of Mac that went into some of the details of a Google project called Games Future, where the Alphabet company wants to bring Android games to the Mac. And this would be set alongside their Stadia, I don't know which way you pronounce it, web gaming platform.
I'd probably say Stadia, but
you say Stadia, I say Stadia. Let's call the whole thing off. And it brings A-level PC games to nearly anyone that's running a Chrome browser. Now, their efforts to get Android titles, their current efforts are to get Android titles into the Chrome OS, but future goals include getting those same titles to the PC market with cross-platform support. And it's kind of like, well, so what? Why would we want to run Android apps? But this got me thinking into Apple's current efforts to support existing x86 apps to run on the new M series Macs through Rosetta 2, and the ability of Big Sur and future Apple operating systems to run iOS and iPadOS applications. Eventually, and likely in the next 6 months, nearly all of Apple's Mac computers, except for probably the Mac Pro, will be on some form of M series processor. And Gaz, you can bet that Apple isn't looking backwards. x86 is done.
Yes.
On the Mac, and all that's left is to clear out the remaining inventory through people still believing they want to run x86 Windows or those looking for a bargain in the refurb store. So, what does all this mean? Eventually, developers, if they want to stay on the Mac, are going to have to recode their existing applications to work natively with the M series processor. Or will they? Gaz, he says lyrically, there are a number of cross-platform solutions that developers can write once, deploy many to multiple operating systems. And one of such solution, we talked about this on Chuck's show, is Electron. And again, if you want, you can go and find that show. There'll be links in the show notes to the one that I'm just talking about here. But the main thing is that you can write the application just once, and it runs in a bunch of different operating systems. And how this all came up, or how I kind of became aware of it, especially in regards to Chuck's show, was that 1Password, the password application that many Mac users, actually users across the world, has been using for a very, very long time, is getting ready to move to Electron.
Yeah.
And chances are with version 8, when that comes out, and many others will likely follow this path as well. Now, the upside to this is if you've bought the app or acquired it through whatever legal means, then you should be able to install it on whatever computers you own and OS. Who cares about the operating system? But there's a downside. However, this also means that whatever custom goodness your OS has won't be implemented unless it's programmed in already. And in the case of the Mac, there is a bunch of accessibility features that won't be available, or really anything else that's strictly custom for the Mac. And I'm assuming that since 1Password is moving to this, that their legendary security will still be there. But if you look at applications like the Slack app and Discord, these are Electron apps, I believe. I believe they both are. I know Slack is. And if you look at their interface, they don't really have a menued interface that's built into the application. I mean, you have a menu, but it's really what's just there based on the operating system. So these companies are creating these applications through Electron or through other services like this and putting them out there for any operating system that they'll run on, which is almost all of them. So do you think that going forward, this is what we're going to see from most developers?
Well, my question would be, is it then worth a manufacturer? Is it behoven on them to actually produce an operating system that can't accept these sorts of applications, but then to give their users better and improved processes? Because as a developer, why wouldn't you produce something which is going to be multi-platform? Yeah. I mean, that's the obvious, that's the first statement. So the pro side is, as a developer, why wouldn't I want to do this unless those OSs or those software environments don't allow me to do certain things with the application I'd like them to do? Then you obviously wouldn't want to use it unless there's some tie-ins to the OS which you're not allowed to do or you can't do with those environments. So as a developer, why wouldn't you do it? So then my question reverses, and to the point I made, if you're creating an OS, is there any reason why you want to create an OS? Because it doesn't give you any advantages to give to your users other than you have control over that environment on the devices that you might sell them. So from Apple's perspective, I think it makes sense that they will continue. They won't block these sorts of applications because
they can't.
Well, no, they
Not
can't.
easily.
No. But if they could, can
They
you
probably
imagine?
would,
Well,
honestly.
yeah, but could you imagine the backlash that they would get?
Yeah, it would be bad. It would be really bad.
So they're not
This
going
CSAM stuff.
Yeah. The small potatoes compared to what they'd get.
What is that word? Kettle in a teacup. No, something in a storm in a teacup. I don't know.
Storm in a teacup. Yeah, absolutely. It would resolve into insignificance, I think, with the furore that you would hear if they did that,
or the Ferrari.
Yeah. So I'm a bit confused as to what OS manufacturers would think about this and where they would want to go, and would it stop them from producing lots of tie-ins? Excuse me.
Bless you, sir.
Sorry. I just had to sneeze then. Would it stop them from producing an OS which is more robust than they supposedly are now? I don't know. Would it mean that they're going to be more secure? Can you imagine? I mean, Microsoft seems to be getting an awful lot of hits at the moment about the insecurity
for
and
Windows 11?
and the fact that they're not making sure that their current OS, and there's lots of bugs which are being found, which have been reported many months ago and still not looked at.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's switch tracks for just a second.
Go on
and talk about that. Microsoft with Windows 11 is finally doing something they should have done 20 years ago, or starting the process of something they should have done 20 years ago, which was abandon or get rid of a lot of the old legacy code that has been in their operating system, almost going all the way back to Windows 1, for God's sake.
Okay.
And there will be and we talked about this earlier, there will be a big kerfuffle over this. But I applaud them for doing now, finally, what they were going to have to do eventually. So, I mean, we'll see what and I know this hasn't anything to do with what we were just talking about, but we'll see what happens with Windows 11. And if they can come up with a better operating system.
Yes, but, so it kind of links in, because if they're thinking, okay, we've got an OS, we've got Microsoft Office, we don't need to produce anything else, because developers are out there and they're developing on platforms, which means that they can just use their app cross-platform.
Yeah.
So that means that we don't have to tie people in to our systems. So the two biggest that have got a finger in these pies is, of course, Android and Apple, because when they like to try and tie you in to their environments. Now their ecosystem. Now Apple have got a better handle on this because they are producing multiple different types of devices. Whereas Android, you've got lots of manufacturers all trying to vow for different types of products against other manufacturers. Whereas Apple, they kind of try and keep the whole gamut under their own ecosystem.
And they do.
And they do. But there's a lot of crossover, certainly with Apple and Windows users, because obviously that's obvious, because they're, from a PC perspective, there are more Windows users than there are pretty much anything else, to be honest with you. But I just worry about what this is going to do to the OSs, more than the fact that it's more than the fact that developers might go down that route and the impact that it might have on the actual applications. I'm more concerned about the base OS systems and what implications this could have on the manufacturers producing the OSs.
That's like the biggest part of the problem, because one of the ways that Apple and companies that create Windows computers try to hook you into what it is that they're selling is the special little bits that they put in to say, well, we're better than product X and Y over there because we do this. And, and then X and Y say, well, you don't, but you do that, but you don't do this. And Microsoft says, well, we don't care because we're going to do what we want to do with our stuff. Apple has spent a lot of time since 1983, 1984, developing their brand in such a way that it is different from the other platforms that are out there. I mean, there is some crossover, but there was going to be, because there's only so many ways that you can climb a tree, so to speak. Yeah. So if you have an application that doesn't have to follow the rules that you put down for your operating system, that other applications that are using the hooks that you have built into your OS, then it's it's cheaper for the developer but in the long run could be more expensive for the end user. And
Yeah.
I wonder if cost alone would be a deciding factor for someone trying to decide between, and let's say Acorn, the graphics program goes into this and they decide to use what was it called? Losing my mind.
Where are you going?
The name of the platform we've been talking about this entire time, and now I can't remember what it's called. I know I got it here someplace.
You said it a couple of times. Is it in there? When you say it, I'm going to be annoyed now.
Electron.
Electron.
There we go. Electron.
Yeah.
Let's say Acorn decides to go Electron, while Adobe decides to stick with their tried and true and doing it through the operating system. But Acorn is able to do it for a much lower price.
Yeah.
If the basic functionality that, say, 75 to 80% of the people that want to use a program like this is there in Acorn, but it's 1/4 of the price of Photoshop, would people abandon Photoshop for Acorn if with Acorn not having all of those same hooks into the operating system that Photoshop does? I know it's kind of a mixed metaphor.
It was a bit. It was a bit, but well, that's the issue that I've got. How many links and fixes into the OS are going to be there moving forward from the OS manufacturers if a lot of the apps that are being used just can run multi-platform, and therefore they don't need to make any, they really then have to push the OS as being the differential as to why you would move into that environment and that ecosphere. And perhaps that's where Apple's going with their security piece.
iCloud for Windows, you mean?
No. I just mean their ecosphere generally. That
okay.
Ignore that. I'm talking about the whole ethos of being secure. And perhaps they're seeing this and they realize that actually we've got to make sure that the OS has a big enough pull for people to be able to stick with this particular OS over any other, because some of the apps will be multi-platform. It doesn't matter where you use them.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been talking about for a while is this. There seems to be a push back to thin clients, almost, to where the operating system, and Microsoft is kind of going in this direction. The operating system isn't on the computer itself. It's in the cloud. So you basically just have this box that has a processor and some graphics capability, and that's plugged into a monitor, keyboard, and mouse in whatever fashion you have those there. Yeah. And then every single thing that you're doing from the moment you turn that machine on is stored in the cloud, created in the cloud, or computed in the cloud. And most, 99% of the processing is done there and not on your own computer. And that's not necessarily a world that a lot of people want to live in.
No.
All right.
No, but the OS writers do.
Yeah, well, if you want to differentiate yourself from someone else, then you have to have something that's unique to your platform that the other people don't have.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that Windows computer manufacturers have, and that's the problem that Android phone makers have, is they don't control the operating system. All they can do is bake their hardware to run whatever the operating system is, along with the hooks that they have into their devices to differentiate them from the devices of another company. And it's why something like Samsung DeX, going way, way, way back here into the podcast, is so interesting to me, but almost looks like it will have an automatic fail because Samsung doesn't control the operating system in which it exists. So we'll see how that works. And I'm not going to go into the details now because I'm still kind of playing with it. But it's kind of where I was hoping the industry was going to go, but so far hasn't. and we won't go any more into that than that right there. So that's the whole thought process that I had based on that Electron and other cross-platform programming environments, and I'm not a developer and I'm not a programmer, seem to be kind of bypassing what makes each operating system unique in order to give a write once, read many option to developers. And whether that's good or not, time will tell.
Cool. I'm nodding my head.
I knew you were. And I was ready.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip.
Okay, talking about OSs, Guy.
Yeah.
Did you know that holding the Option key while resizing a window resizes it from the center of that particular window? So if you hover your mouse and you've got let's say you've got a window which is open on your screen, and you hover your mouse over the corner of that particular application, and when you press Option and then you pull out with the arrow going in one direction or the other, basically it will resize that window from the center so that obviously it expands. So this isn't so that you can get it large to full screen, because we all know how to do that with various different options about double clicking on the green button. This actually does it so it goes from the center. However, you can also hold the Shift key while resizing the window, and that just keeps the proportions of the screen the same, which is slightly different. So what you may want to do is just experiment with your window. If you're finding on the new OS that this isn't working quite how you thought, press either the Shift key or the Option key first, because this is it seems odd actually that sometimes you need to actually press the key first before actually doing it, I found. But basically, using those two different, and have a play with how it resizes the windows. I see you're nodding your head.
I am.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Yeah, you are absolutely right.
I know.
Yeah. The whole process just seems to get longer and longer. I was actually trying that, and I find that probably the Shift, make the window bigger, is the one that would work best for me.
Okay.
Very
well,
good.
we're all different, Guy.
We are. No picks. We do have. Oh, actually, no, we don't have that email feedback, do we? That was from last week. I forgot to
let me just check. Yes.
It was from Carl.
Yes.
Forgot to get rid of that. Okay. Something I forgot to mention last week, because we had a audio feedback from Scottish Jim, that if you do an iTunes review or really anything that we use on the show, that you are entitled to a Woo T, which is a big W, big O, big T, little I, little E, exclamation mark, Woo T. And I don't know, Jim, if you're listening to this, please contact me and let me know if you already have a Woody, if you would like a Woody, if you would like me to lose your email address because you never want to hear from me again. There should be something along those lines. However, we do have another audio comment from Jim. And these are actually, I think, closer to bumpers than anything else.
I think they are. I think
They
that's
are.
what he's going for, if I'm honest.
And we have one more here. I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Quality entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Quality entertainment. Quality entertainment. MyMac podcast with Guy and Gaz.
Thank you, Jim.
Quality entertainment.
It is quality entertainment. Now, if after all of this, you would like to help contribute to my ever-growing costs in doing this show, you can do so by going to patreon.com/MacParrot, coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot, or PayPal through paypal.me/MacParrot. Now, Gaz.
Did you notice anything then?
Yeah, I didn't hear a damn thing.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I'm changing the way I chase you around the board.
I thought for a minute you were going to say you're chasing dragons, and I was going to say that doesn't make any sense at all. There they go. It's multiple. Polly want a shotgun? So, Gaz, if people wanted to get a hold of you and say, my God, why won't that parrot shut up? How would they do so?
And here's where I struggle, because I've got to play this because I know what's going to happen. Right. You can send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/Gazmaz, G-A-Z, M-A-Z. You can also contact Guy and myself on the Twitters, twitter.com/Guy and Gaz, G-A-Y, G-A-Y, G-U-Y, A-N-D.
All bright and beautiful.
G-A-Z.
Y-D-Z. Cars. Nobody
can hear what I'm saying when you keep interrupting me.
I know. That's what I do.
You can also, I nearly did a Jaws one then. You can also send an email to feedback@mymac.com. That's F-E-E-D-B-A-C-K.
Okay.
I have to get that quicker and quicker and quicker, so you can't do those little bits, you see. Now.
Do we know it was a guy?
Of course we know it was a guy.
Guy was paid his 75 grand.
Absolutely.
I like to go with Guy.
So do I. So do I.
MyMac.
Yes. MyMac what?
That's a new one. I don't remember hearing that one before.
MyMac shut down.
So that's the wish of so many people.
Yes, so many people.
Guy says.
What did Guy say? I don't know what Guy says. Guy says
his name was Guy.
Yes, absolutely.
He's the guy.
Definitely, he's the guy.
Guy.
Yeah.
You remember Guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Guy's the one.
Definitely.
No fooling.
If you want
an email from Guy.
How on this planet, this flat planet, would you do it?
This flat planet that we all live on and can fall off the edge at any time, you would send that to Guy at mymac.com. You could also reach me on the Twitters. I am MacParrot and VertShark over there on the Twitters. What else? VertShark is vertshark.com is the website to see all the latest audios and videos. You can subscribe to VertShark over there on the Tubes of You and get all that stuff too. And Gaz, we have a Skype telephone number. Oh my God. We do. That Skype telephone number is 1 or +1 outside the United States, 703-436-9501. That number again is 1 or +1 703-436-9501. I forgot to say 0 instead of but that's okay.
Okay.
If you don't want to do the 1 or +1, just go right to that Skype app and type in 703-436-9501. So thank you. This is the end of the show. It's coming up real quick here. Thank you to everyone who downloads and listens to the MyMac.com podcast. It is greatly appreciated from both Gaz and myself. And Gaz, I think we're good enough.
Nope.
After all this time. Yes.
Nope.
Yes, we are.
Nope.
And that we're smart enough.
Nope.
Okay. Maybe not. But Wilf gone it. Woof. People like us.
Être sous dans les massions signifie que vous pouvez Peter et n'a jamais dit que vous étiez seul. Guy?
Yes, I'm just looking at what that translates to, and it's making me laugh again.
I'm not reading that out.
I don't
Guy,
blame you. Yeah.
How do you get a baby astronaut to sleep?
You rocket him?
No, you nearly had it. You nearly had it. You just say, you rocket.
Oh.
End.
So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on home and go home.